Jake, seems like an eternity, mate.
Yeah.
Must be
Too long, mate.
A year this month since you last fought.
Yeah.
Probably over a year since I last spoke to you.
Yeah.
On camera, anyway.
Yeah, been a long time. I know everyone's in the same boat, aren't they? With the lockdown and restrictions and stuff.
Well, I came to speak to you with Anthony at the old gym before we got burnt down, and you just moved there, and you had your one fight under him. Everything was going to go well. You did a great win on the VIP Contender series.
Yeah, the Contender show. Yeah.
Thought everything was going to move on. You entered the VIP Contender series, but hand damage.
Yeah.
COVID.
Just weren't meant to be, was it? If it weren't the hand damage, the COVID shut it down anyway. But yeah, I went in the super lightweight tournament with a couple of prospects. I was confident of winning it anyway. And,
a lot of people were confident that you'd probably.
Yeah, I quit my job as well. I quit my job for it. I thought, now's the time to go full time and step it up a gear and win this and set myself up. And
won you.
Yeah, I quit my job, and then lockdown happened, and then everyone at the workplace that I was still getting paid, and I weren't getting paid. It's a nightmare for the full lockdown, but I suppose there's a lot of people worse off than me and stuff. So.
But like I say, you've been back in the gym. Obviously, you couldn't really do anything. What do you actually had done on your hand? What was it?
So it was popping up for a couple of fights, and I'd go to it'd balloon up, and it was doing it in sparring. It'd balloon up, and
what was it? Your knuckle?
My knuckle, yeah, the tendon was split on my knuckle, right. And my bone was exposed. And I go to the doctors, and they just say it's an hairline fracture. I'd rest it. Obviously, the tendon was still split. So when I was coming back, I was thinking, resting it for 6 to 8 weeks, I was thinking it was fine. I was coming back fighting, was ballooning up again because we had small gloves on when I was fighting. It ballooned up again. It happened for about 3 fights, so I carried it through a couple of fights, and then I went to see a specialist, Mike Ayton, and honest to God, he looked at my hands for about 10 seconds, and went like that. I just felt it. He went, yeah, you've split your tendon there. So just knew like that, and I didn't tell him where it was. I didn't tell him where knuckle. I didn't tell him what knuckle it was or anything. Just felt my knuckles and said, yeah, you've split your tendon there, mate. Need it operating on. So a good friend of mine, Mike Legala, helped me out and paid for the operation.
He's the guy with VIP Contender.
Yeah, he's a good friend of mine. He sponsors me through one of his companies, Speedy Freight, and he's a top fella. So I would have been on the NHS waiting list otherwise, waiting for months. So we just paid for it, got it done from there, and then I was in the tournament on his shop, and obviously lockdown happened and stuff, and I was.
So everything you quit your job, you paid for the operation, and all these things you could have done.
Mate, I had an absolute.
For free.
That's what I mean. I had an absolute nightmare, honest to God, but. It's one of them things, and businesses was closing down and stuff like that. So I just think, I always think whenever anything happens, I always think it could be worse. There's always someone worse off than you.
Yeah, I suppose it's a good way, not necessarily a nice way to think someone's in a worse situation than you, but there is, and so that's it, isn't it? You know what I mean? But you're back in the gym, weight's coming off again, and hoping, as we all are, that sometime in 2021. Small old shows are going to get going, but you're 7-0. I mean, you're probably you're a fantastic amateur. You know, many national titles. Yeah. So perhaps you were one of those kids. Maybe we could take a gamble with,
100%,
and take a hit on one of the big shows as an away fighter.
100%. That's why I want to get my weight down. I want to get to me roughly around fight weight. So if anything does come up. I'm going to put myself out there. I'm easy, you know what I mean? I'm confident in my abilities. Yeah. Obviously I'll be rusty, but there's never a perfect time for anything. If you wait for the ideal time, you could be waiting forever. Do you know what I mean?
Everyone's a little bit rusty.
That's what I mean. So it is what it is. Do you know what I mean? It's a fight at the end of the day. So obviously, if I don't get the opportunity to go any weight on one of the big shows or whatever, then. Hopefully the small hours come about, but I'm gonna get to my fight weight anyway. Yeah. And the phone goes, I'm ready. And
like I say, if that's a great scenario if you do get a chance on a slot on one of these big TV shows. But if not, 2021 is still a year for you to build, and hopefully by the end of 21, you're going to be in a position where definitely should be looking for titles, shouldn't you? And when I say titles, I don't mean central area, I'm talking English.
Yeah, 100%. Well, I've sparred with a lot of the lads around them sort of domestic levels and the high-end domestic levels, and I've mixed well with them. I know roughly what level I'm at, and I'm improving all the time. But
what does Anthony say to you then? I presume you must have conversations with him and find out ways.
Well, something popped up not too long ago. I won't mention the fighter, but I was miles away from the weight, so it was never. I could never even consider it. But he was like, if he was at the weight, you could take this. Do you know what I mean? And you beat this kid, and then maybe that's your foot in the door on one of the matchroom shows or whatever.
Yeah.
So I was fuming about it. I watched the fight at home, kicking myself, but it's just one of the things, isn't it?
Yeah. You know what I mean? I think I know what the kid's talking about.
So I want to get to weight anyway, and if the phone goes, I'm ready.
Well, listen, it looks like everything's going well down here. Obviously, this is your new home, but you have got a new gym, haven't you? You've been moving into with Anthony, where he's going to be training the Fox Amateur.
Yeah, it's upgraded as well. It's my opinion, it's a lot better than the previous one. A lot warmer anyway.
Yeah.
The other one was like a freezer. It was red hot in the summers and freezing cold in the winters. It was no middle ground.
That old place though was a boxing mega centre, wasn't it? Really, when you think about it. Gyms, I think there was 3 gyms in that place.
Some of the fighters that have gone through them doors over the years, unbelievable. But there was about 9 gyms in that mill. There was. But it was like I was saying, and it was red hot in the summers and freezing cold in the winters. There was no middle ground, was there, with it?
Yeah,
so this one, smart. The new one's really smart.
And anyone can recognise that voice. That's Mr. Crow in the background there. So, Jake, listen, like I say, I know you're working hard. Like I say, what we're talking about for what's going to come in 2021 and making sure you're ready for whatever it is. I'm sure you will be. And I'm sure sooner or later I'll be chatting to you, and you're definitely going to be 8-0.
100%. Nice one, Lee.
Take care, Jake.
Take care.
See you on, mate. Bye.
For all boxing info, news and latest interviews, amateur and pro, across the north, click and subscribe. VIP Boxing Promotions. Also, Twitter, Instagram and Facebook.